"107 in the afternoon. Welcome to the Talk on the Block. If it's on the block, we'll talk about it. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Stick around. When you want the bed, what you do? Shop at SDA. Better than the rest. Shop at SDA. And the husband wear. Shop at SDA. You get more for less day. Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. Yeah. Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. What is that? Shop at SDA. SDA's family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our price is Madam Minister, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SDA. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SDA. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, hope and power, all of them. Grandma, hope and neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose.
Now available at Eastside Trading Limited showroom departments, a wide range of household items and accessories. Plates in porcelain, ceramic, clear and cordial. Bowls in glassware, plastic and porcelain. Pot sets and frying pan sets. Glasses for all occasions. Knife sets and cutlery. Water jugs and storage containers. Wooden spoon sets. Dish strainers. Chopping boards, bath towels, shower curtains, bed sheet sets, curtain rods, living room sets, recliners, and dining room sets, mats and rugs, and so much more. All at unbeatable prices. Visit us today. We are located at the corner of Kennedy Avenue and Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard, Roseau. Eastside Trading Limited, making a difference for you.
Boombox. We now carry and are fully stocked in granola fertilizers. Urea 46%. Great for leafy green 15-15-15. Great for all vegetables or young fruit trees 20-20-20. Best for foliar spray and seedings and small vegetables 12-12-17. Great for tree crops or flowering vegetables and fruits 12-24-12. Root crop fertilizer like dasheen and white potato 12-4-28. Great for tree crops or flowering vegetables and fruits. Red potash for fruit trees and vegetables. All the fertilizers you need are available at Bloombox. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill, second property on the right after the Valley League Road. Your one-stop shop for everything that grows. Let's bloom together.
Your side woman a little brooks, her man a little brooks, but she telling you she want a BBL. But most importantly, you cannot say bottom on the radio. So NDFD is giving best business loans up to $20,000, and here's how you can get yours. You working a 9 to 5? Yes, sweet. You can get up to $10,000. True, no boy. Your business must be registered. You have to be employed for 18 months. Salary deduction only. No guarantor required. You're getting a free add-on DNO for 1 month. 100 free business cards. No, but really and truly, what again you want? So what about the 20,000? It's the same thing, except you must provide business records. And that's for people who are self-employed. Call them or WhatsApp them 275-6859. Go and get your BBL. You deserve it.
The Abraham Cyber Cafe, based in the vibrant community of Woodford Hill, is where you inspire and we create. Call on Abraham Cyber Cafe for all your top quality printing needs. Vehicle decals, custom made tumblers, mugs, and brilliant printing of t-shirts, caps, and a wide variety of ID cards. For top quality, fast, eye-catching, head-turning, high-impact, vibrant printing, rely on the professional printing services of Abraham Cyber Cafe. Call 315-5745 or WhatsApp 276-6522. Abraham Cyber Cafe. We bring all your ideas to life with exceptional brilliance and excellence. The people's choice. You won't regret this experience.
Share the love with KFC's Bucket Together. And when you share the love, win an all-expense 5-night trip for two to the St. Kitts Music Festival on Sunrise Airways.
For only $45, you get 6 pieces chicken spicy or original, 2 fries, 2 biscuits, and 2 corn.
Let's bucket together. Order now, in store, at the drive-thru and on delivery.
Offer ends May 23. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Dominique, I know we're here. Just before I came on the radio, a short while before 1 o'clock, that I'm doing some investigations on. It's a podcast that has gone viral. What is it about? The Caribbean. The microscope is on you right now. Trump targets 10 Caribbean countries. That surfaced about 8 hours ago. And that includes Dominica. Travel bans. Let's listen. You want to hear it again? Let's listen.
What if I told you that the dream of visiting America for millions in the Caribbean is about to be crushed again? That with one single stroke of a pen, 10 entire nations might find themselves locked out of the United States under a brand new travel ban led by none other than Donald J. Trump. That's right. Trump is back in the headlines, and this time the Caribbean is directly in his crosshairs. In a world where migration is already harder than ever and borders are increasingly seen as battlegrounds, this new policy is not just a travel restriction, it's a statement. It's controversial, it's political, and it's personal for millions. And if you're from the Caribbean, you might want to sit down, because your country could be on the list. In this video, we're breaking down Trump's shocking new travel ban policy, exposing the 10 Caribbean nations targeted, and diving deep into how this could reshape the geopolitical landscape of the Western Hemisphere. From tourism to student visas, family reunification to economic fallout, this isn't just another headline. This is a seismic shift. So grab a seat, hit that like button if you're outraged already, and let's expose the truth behind Trump's Caribbean crackdown. The new travel ban, what some are calling Travel Ban 3.0 Caribbean Edition, is a dramatic extension of Trump's original executive order 13769. Under the guise of national security and immigration reform, the proposed policy targets nations with what the administration is calling high visa overstay rates, weak diplomatic cooperation, and economic instability. But critics see something more sinister, a calculated move to suppress immigration from predominantly black and brown nations. The narrative is the same: fear, suspicion, and control. Trump's team argues it's about protecting American jobs and tightening border control, but at what cost, and why now? The criteria for the ban are opaque and subjective. Visa overstay rates, for example, are disproportionately calculated without considering the underlying socioeconomic context. Weak diplomatic cooperation? That's a vague excuse that could be applied selectively to almost any country Trump doesn't like. Economic instability? Since when is poverty a national security threat to the U.S.? This isn't just policy, this is power in action. And here are the 10 Caribbean nations allegedly on Trump's hit list. Haiti is once again the poster child for U.S. immigration scapegoating. The Trump administration has consistently treated Haiti like a problem rather than a partner. Under this new policy, Haitian nationals would be barred from entering the U.S. under most non-immigrant visa categories. That means no tourism, no student visas, no temporary workers. Why Haiti? Trump has infamously referred to it in derogatory terms before, and this policy seems like a continuation of that disdain. The administration cites unacceptable overstay rates and inability to verify identities. But what they fail to acknowledge is the reason Haitians overstay: instability, violence, and lack of opportunity back home, often caused or exacerbated by U.S. foreign policy itself. This isn't immigration policy, it's targeted exclusion. The Haitian American community in the U.S. would face heartbreaking separations. Families torn apart, students with dreams of attending college in Miami or New York denied. This move isn't about national security, it's about erasing Haiti from the American dream. Jamaica, a cornerstone of Caribbean tourism and culture, now faces a devastating blow. Under the proposed travel restrictions, even short-term B1/B2 visas would be severely limited. Jamaican professionals, artists, and students who enrich American culture in countless ways could soon find themselves shut out. The Trump administration argues that Jamaica has one of the highest overstay rates among Caribbean nations. But this data is misleading. Many Jamaicans stay a few weeks past their visa expiration due to emergencies, work, or transportation issues. It's not an immigration crisis, it's human nature. What's really behind this ban? Some say it's a way to retaliate against Jamaica's refusal to align with Trump-era foreign policy, especially its close ties with China and Venezuela. The impact would be massive: families disconnected, the Jamaican-American diaspora enraged, and an entire generation of students and workers denied access to opportunities. Despite being an economic leader in the Southern Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago has found itself on this blacklist. And the reason? According to Trump's team, a lack of cooperation in deportation enforcement and terrorism concerns. Yes, terrorism. This accusation is not only unfair, it's inflammatory. While Trinidad has dealt with isolated issues related to radicalization, there's no justification for punishing an entire nation of over 1 million people. Most Trinidadians who travel to the U.S. do so legally and return as required. By painting Trinidad as a national security threat, the Trump administration is weaponizing fear and feeding into Islamophobic narratives. It's a slap in the face to the hardworking professionals, engineers, and medical workers from T&T who help build America every single day. Guyana, a country on the rise thanks to its booming oil economy, has been slapped with the ban under the rationale of corruption concerns and weak border control. But this is hypocrisy at its finest. The U.S. has long benefited from trade and investment with Guyana. ExxonMobil has massive operations there. Now, just as Guyana steps into its economic golden age, the U.S. wants to shut its people out. It reeks of economic gatekeeping. The policy will disproportionately affect Guyanese students and skilled workers, many of whom contribute in sectors like healthcare and education. If this isn't economic sabotage dressed up as immigration reform, then what is? Yes, even the Bahamas, America's favorite Caribbean playground, is on the list. The reason? Inadequate border screening and high incidence of visa fraud. This is deeply ironic. U.S. citizens flood Bahamian resorts by the millions every year. But when Bahamians try to visit the U.S. for education, work, or family, they're suddenly too risky. After Hurricane Dorian, the U.S. turned away desperate Bahamian refugees seeking temporary protection. That set the tone. Now, this ban threatens to sever one of the most intertwined Caribbean-American relationships. It's short-sighted, cruel, and economically disastrous for both nations. St. Lucia has been flagged for economic instability and inconsistent diplomatic posture. Translation: they're not playing ball with Washington. This move is pure political bullying. St. Lucia has a population of under 200,000. To label them a national threat is absurd. But Trump's team doesn't care about nuance. They care about submission. St. Lucians, who often travel to the U.S. for medical reasons, tourism, and family, would be among the hardest hit. The policy would also tank St. Lucia's economy, which relies heavily on diaspora remittances. Dominica is being punished for daring to have a diplomatic relationship with China and for its citizenship by investment program, which Trump sees as a backdoor into the United States. But this is a gross mischaracterization. Dominica's CBI is regulated, legal, and beneficial to its economy. Blocking its citizens from U.S. travel over it is coercive and unjust. This policy will isolate Dominicans and sever important ties between the United States and one of the Caribbean's most environmentally resilient nations. It's economic punishment masquerading as immigration control. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been labeled uncooperative by Trump's administration. Why? Because they refuse to condemn Venezuela at the UN and have maintained independent foreign policy positions. This is not about migration, it's about allegiance. And the message is clear: obey or face exclusion. The policy would block Vincentians from applying for most visas, including seasonal agricultural work, something many depend on. It's a targeted economic blow disguised as national security. Grenada, another country with a CBI program, has been accused of visa abuse and insufficient information sharing. But let's call this what it is: the criminalization of economic independence. Grenada's relationship with the United States has always been rocky post-1983, and this ban seems like a revival of Cold War bullying tactics. The average Grenadian who wants to visit family in New York or work in Miami shouldn't be punished for their government's economic strategy. This policy will devastate families and deepen resentment toward the United States. And finally, Barbados, the cultural gem of the Caribbean. The rationale? Trump's team claims excessive visa overstays and non-cooperation on security protocols. But Barbados has one of the lowest crime rates and highest literacy rates in the region. This ban is baffling unless you understand the real agenda: total dominance over the Caribbean's migration policies. This move would be devastating to Barbadians who travel for medical care, education, and trade. It would cripple cultural exchange and hurt tourism on both sides. This ban would be implemented through executive action using Section 212 FF of the Immigration and Nationality Act, an incredibly broad legal tool that allows the president to bar entry to any group deemed detrimental to United States interests. No congressional vote, no public debate, just Trump, a pen, and a dangerous idea. The legal precedent was already set in Trump v. Hawaii in 2018, where the Supreme Court upheld a similar travel ban affecting majority Muslim countries. If he gets re-elected or even gains enough influence over the Republican-controlled Congress, this could become real policy within weeks. What's worse, there's little recourse for the affected nations. The ban would also be enforced through tightened visa issuance, data sharing demands, and economic leverage. This is soft power gone nuclear.
All right, Dominica, we continue to monitor that story. Already we got a report a couple of weeks ago, and the Caribbean government said they were investigating. But for Trump, as many claim, it's either America or We'll continue to investigate this one. I have my sources there in Washington. Investigating this one. We're trying to pay some attention to a note we got from Mr. Danny Luge this morning. He says, "Attention, colleagues and constituents. Today, Monday, April 14th, I just returned from the electoral office at Roseau. I was informed by a senior officer that the reconfirmation has not begun. That enrollment officers are being engaged to conduct the reconfirmation, but they have not been activated. That the registering officers in the various constituencies will not be used for the reconfirmation exercise. That is what information he's sharing. That an announcement will be made by the electoral office on the start date and the end date for reconfirmation. The only constituents of the Roseau Central constituency will be reconfirmed at the electoral office in Roseau. All other constituents will be provided with enrollment officers in their constituency." I find that very interesting. Questions of transparency and accountability of the voter reconfirmation process in the Commonwealth of Dominica. Will the reconfirmation process be transparent in the public? Question. Will the names of the registrants be published daily, weekly, or monthly on a voter registration or register during the reconfirmation period? Will independent observers be permitted to oversee the process? And will political parties be allowed to have an agent to oversee or observe the reconfirmation process? Questions from Mr. Danny Luge. Because I'm hearing a lot, I may not be totally correct, but I'm hearing a lot of re-registration may be taking place at this time. Let's see what's going on. And we'll be investigating further. Somebody's making the point, man. By the time they let you know re-registration begins, they're already done. And let the other parties know after they did theirs, or they did theirs. Well, let's take some more information. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Matt, I sorry for Dominicans.
You're sorry?
Matt, you think it's a joke? You think that is a joke?
Some
People must carry their weight and plant their garden. We're going to carry water out back with empty bucket. That's all about it. Carry it. You are on your way out now.
All right, I tell you what, some people, sending information that may be fake news, but we have sources in Washington trying to confirm. Hello, talk to me on the telephone.
Yeah? Hey, Mr. Pelton, blessed day to you. What's up, sir?
Blessed day to you.
We met somebody and myself and another young man, we were reasoning. I don't know who introduced it, no, Matt. I come in right back to you, Matt, a slight deviation. They said all the guys that are recording Q95 and doing all the thing, how do they call it, NGIC, Matt?
NGIC, yes.
They said the wives and the children must be careful because there are special devices from China to attach to the clothing secretly, so anywhere the wives and the children go, They're watching them and they're listening to everything, Matt. So that is breaking news, Matt.
Well, is that confirmed though? Is that confirmed?
Huh?
Is that confirmed?
What you say? Is that confirmed?
I'm asking you whether the information you just shared is confirmed.
Well, you and Carlisle investigate, do all your work, but I'm not a journalist. I just telling you what it is.
Or what you heard or what somebody shared with you. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Matt, it's very interesting. I listened to the brother there, dissecting the countries that are being penalized by the globalists. Everybody talking about Trump and America. Matt, just wait. The same thing, Europe, all of them going to do. Well, they're doing. I always love that, Matt. They're not going to. They are already doing. A lot of us are not following world news, so we think it's all about America. Matt, when the brother talk about Dominica in such a light with the CBI program, and Matt, did you listen to him when he talk about Dominica?
I heard.
You would swear say that's the best CBI program in the world, and I think it's in his ignorance. It have nothing to do with maybe a preferential description, so to speak. But everybody he called in how much 10 countries, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
They receive a preferential description or clean bill of health. But Matt, we as Caribbean people, we know better, Matt. Isn't that so, Matt?
True.
With all the, how they call it, the global, what they call them, Matt, with those Chinese in St. Lucia. It's global now? Yeah, some CS Global, Matt. That's what it is?
CS Global, yes. Uh-huh.
You have Montreal Management in Dominica and all those organizations that are helping the Caribbean criminals to steal billions from their people. So, Matt, I am not saying it is justified because it have a place they call Israel. I don't know if you know that place, Matt, where they're killing little babies every day, men, women, and children. I mean, the atrocities there is frightening. And for we in the Caribbean to be penalized, Matt, and Israel, nothing is happening. So it is sad. I am just saying, Matt, these countries you talk about is either China, but you did not call the other country name. You don't want people to say you're being preferential. Call your country name, no, Matt. You don't call it your country name. It's either China or you don't say nothing again. Well, you choose between the devil and the deep blue sea. Matt, if you were to choose, if I gave you that option, Matt, what you would choose, the devil or the deep blue sea?
That's a nice question, Blessings. I'll answer next time.
You there with me?
I'm very, very, very. I'm here with you. I'm here with you, yes.
Yeah, you see the line that divide in the road, Matt? They ask a fella, what that is for? He says for bicycle. Matt, bet you choose that line in the road. Then you choose the devil or the deep blue sea. Matt, when two elephants fighting, Matt, you these little stupid little criminals
don't get involved.
And corrupt Caribbean leaders, it's only all you that are going to be trampled. Or you have to be quite discretionate and diplomatic. All either one of them want is for you to choose a side. And then, oh, voila, okay, we get you. Rah! The dragon eat you, or the eagles start to pick you with a beak, and all Europe, all of them. Not be careful with those people. Agenda 2030 with 17 objectives, Matt. The beast is raging because the dragon on the rise, China. And then for them to try to curtail that momentum, Matt, all little specks of dust in the Caribbean have to suffer the consequences. And that doesn't mean they're innocent, you know, Matt. These little specks of dust in the archipelago, they're guilty. They give America and Europe and them some justification. I do not see it to a greater extent, but to a less extent it is there, Matt, to calm down on them because they're criminals committing crimes against the people, selling passports to all crooks and criminals, threatening the national security according to Americans and Europeans of these Americans and European countries. When you sell passports to all criminals, ask $1 million because they want kid, they have all kind of things. All you did not realize, the chicken would have come home to roost. Have a blessed day, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Somebody's saying, man, some registration is taking place in my constituency. What constituency is that? Yes, registration is taking place in Sufre. We'll have to investigate that. 449, that's coming from a very prominent person in that community. Registration is actually taking place in Sufre. Well, again, we'll have to investigate. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
Matt, you live in Roseau, you live in Port Michel.
I
You
live
work in Roseau, you live in Port Michel.
Yes.
Matt, I think as a journalist, to be your best bet is to go to the electoral office and speak to the people in charge, and you have your mic, you speak into them, so you take their word there on your mic, and you there. So
I'd really like to talk to the new, the lady in charge, the chief election officer, and whether she would give me an interview or not is a different thing. But you're making a very important point. People need to know the truth. Danny went there this morning and he investigated. I guess he got the information from an officer. So maybe they'll get information, as you said, Blue, and we'll find out what else is going on. Yes.
Man, and you'd have it on tape. So you'd have their word there. So you could hold their foot to the fire when push comes to shove. And what Donald Trump doing in America is Donald Trump country. Even if his father came in there as an immigrant, he and his mother, right? Yeah, he's American. He considers himself immigrant and American. But when that he come out, people we put in office to serve us, they're kicking us, they're brutalizing us, they're doing wickedness to us, man. Can you imagine that? So Donald Trump can do what the hell he wants in this country. Leave out who he wants and put in who he wants. Let him do what he wants because you are wicked ministers, so-called ministers, and so-called prime ministers doing wickedness to their people with policemen inside of it. Some of them policemen doing wickedness to their own people. What do you expect Donald Trump to do when your own people want to treat you like criminal, man? Donald Trump doing his best. Donald Trump do your work, and Dominica, St. Dominica, green card, and visa, and what they call in the other one,
passport.
Send your damn lane.
So,
Bye-bye.
Blue, you don't want to go back to America, man. Hey.
My children shall make noise with me, man. At my home.
At your home.
My son was there. Our son was there for December, he and his wife.
Yes.
Mommy, how you doing? Darling, I see that traveling business. Leave me alone at my home, and go. Bye-bye.
All right. Blue will stay in Dominica. That's her home. These people are so evil. What is happening in Vegas is what? What's going on in Vegas is what? All of them with pictures of NEP, all my brothers taking their photos. So what is really going on there? These people are really evil. They are re-registering already. Vacants too. We're going to come back after this.
The Abraham Cyber Cafe, based in the vibrant community of Woodford Hill, is where you inspire and we create. Call on Abraham Cyber Cafe for all your top quality printing needs. Vehicle decals, custom-made tumblers, mugs, and brilliant printing of t-shirts, caps, and a wide variety of ID cards. For top quality, fast, eye-catching, head-turning, high-impact, vibrant printing, rely on the professional printing services of Abraham Cyber Cafe. Call 315-5745 or WhatsApp 276-6522. Abraham Cyber Cafe. We bring all your ideas to life with exceptional brilliance and excellence. The people's choice. You won't regret this experience.
Your side woman a little brooks. Her man a little brooks. But she telling you she want a BBL. But most importantly, you cannot say bottom on the radio. So NDFD is giving best business loans up to $20,000, and here's how you can get yours. You working a 9 to 5? Yes, sweet. You can get up to $10,000. True now, boy. Your business must be registered. You have to be employed for 18 months. Salary deduction only. No guarantor required. You're getting a free add-on DNO for 1 month. 100 free business cards. No, but really and truly, what again you want? So what about the 20,000? It's the same thing, except you must provide business records. And that's for people who are self-employed. Call them or WhatsApp them 275-6859. Go and get your BBL. You deserve it.
All right, Dominique, back to the registration and re-registration issue, because a number of persons are now texting me to tell me it's happening in my constituency, Thibault. I know people in my village who are going around door to door to only labor rights. In Thibault. So re-registration is actually taking place according to the information. But based on the information received there from Danny Lugay, the former PAL rep of Goodwill, he was informed by a senior officer that the reconfirmation has not begun. Danny Lugay is on the telephone with me this afternoon. Danny, tell me what's going on.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
And good afternoon to all listeners. Matt, I love to get information firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to the office, I actually asked for the chief elections officer.
Right.
But the chief elections officer just stepped out.
Mm-hmm.
So the person at the desk was a senior enough guy, but he called a more senior person to explain to me what's going on. So I know that there was some activity happening in Rosenhof, where there was a barbecue on Shop Lane, but people were seen going in and out of the Labour Party Rosenhof office or Miriam Blanchard office in Rosenhof with their passport in hand. So I was concerned about what's really happening there, and I've heard other reports of similar things happening where people were seen with their passports. So I went to the office, to do some inquiry.
You wanted to verify yourself. You wanted to verify for yourself, yes.
Yes, I want to hear for myself what's going on. So I was told by that senior officer that enrollment officers are being engaged to conduct the reconfirmation, but they have not yet been activated. And secondly, that the registering officers in the various constituencies will not be used for the reconfirmation exercise. I repeat that the registering officers based in the constituencies will not be used for the reconfirmation exercise. Thirdly, that an announcement will be made by the Electoral Office of a start date and finish date for the reconfirmation period, and that for constituents of the Roseau Central constituency, reconfirmation will be done at the Electoral Office in Roseau. So that's the only constituency where reconfirmation will be done at the head office of the Electoral Office in Roseau. And that will be for constituents of the Roseau Central constituency. All other constituencies will be provided with enrollment officers in their constituency, but that hasn't begun yet. Okay, but I had some questions because I'm concerned after myself being involved in a fight for electoral reform, will that process, the reconfirmation process, be transparent? Okay, so I have the following questions. Will the names of registrants be published daily, weekly, and monthly on the voter register during the reconfirmation process? Because we don't want to hear of another inflating list during the reconfirmation process. Secondly, will independent observers be permitted to oversee that process? Just like in elections, right, we have independent observers. For that process of confirmation, I think it is important to have independent observers. We do not want another inflated list where we have 70,000 voters, right? 70,000 voters on the list, but for the past 3 or 4 elections, just about 40,000 people actually voting. So clearly, the electoral list is inflated, and we don't want another list inflated again.
So you want the list transparent?
I want it to be a transparent exercise, and also I further asking, will political parties be allowed to have an agent to oversee or observe the reconfirmation process? Because a lot of nonsense can go on, and we do not want to have no quarrel after the fact of the reconfirmation. So we'd like for independent observers, preferably from overseas, to come and oversee the reconfirmation process, and for agents of political parties to have at least one agent at every place where the so-called, where the enrollment officers will be stationed, so that no cocoa macaque can happen and that people will still be dissatisfied with the reconfirmation. So that is my concern.
All right. So you're very, very concerned that you took that step to go and find out for yourself.
Yes, indeed, Matt. I like to hear from the officers myself.
Because I'm as you speak with me, somebody's saying Danny's not lying, because Miss Blanchard's office all know if you take a drive, you will see for yourself what's going on. Soufriere is also confirming that there's registration going on Thibault vehicles. So something is going on, Danny, and you might have to take a few more trips. I'll go to the electoral office myself and ask this very question.
Yes, I think the chief elections officer should speak, just like in other countries, right? Anytime they have a renewal of your voter registration card, they announce it publicly. You hear the chief elections officer on the news, on other media platforms, telling people, come and do your re-registration, come and get your card, come. So it's a transparent process. In Dominica, there's this big secret which results in people angry, which results in fraud, which results in stolen election. We do not want that. After this exercise, if Labour Party win, let everybody be quiet. But let it be a transparent process where you have observers coming in to observe the reconfirmation, and you also have people, at least one representative from all political parties, observing that reconfirmation, and at least publish every week of the reconfirmation that you have a list being published, so people can go and look at the list and say, well, yes, these people live in the constituency, and everybody will be happy after the exercise.
Yeah, because I'm just saying again, there's registration taking place in Pennville. Again, we have to confirm, as you said, Danny, and we'll find out a little more. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Danny Lugay, former PAL rep of the Goodwill North constituency. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Matt Pelke, blessings to you, Matt. Sorry. Matt, Danny talk about overseas people to oversee.
I think about to say,
people have already foreseen or foresaw. They even use a hacksaw and a handsaw, Matt. The criminal activities that is going on in Dominica. Matt, remember the OAS and CARICOM and all of them who came with their recommendations and suggestions, Matt?
Yes, all of us did.
Nothing was done about it. Matt, these criminals find a new way, quite, sophisticatedly, to come with a reconfirmation rather than re-registration. And Danny's a gentleman. Danny went there. Instead, she would step up to the plate. What they say, Matt? She step out?
She just stepped out of the office there.
Well, she don't want to step up to the plate and take some risk.
Well, I cannot say that because I don't know what the lady's business was. He said as soon as he went in the office, they said that she stepped out. Well, maybe coincidentally. I suspect you don't believe that, huh?
whether it's a consistent sequence of events, Matt, coincidence is absent. For in the laws of coincidence, there is no consistency. There is too much of coincidence in Dominica, Matt. A lot of things, and I'm not saying that one is a criminally orchestrated, Matt, and they will appear like coincidence, just like when you listen to Corbett say, well, the guy has never reported anything. And I heard you make a very great analogy. Can you imagine the police chairman break in a bank and steal money, and the bank never made no report to the policeman, and the police say, well, it's not our business, eh? And you're on camera, you know, Matt. It's not just for the banker or whoever to come and report. The thief, Matt, or thieves, guess what? Nobody reported the matter. How convenient, Matt, and how coincidental. I am just saying, my brethren, it is sad to see what is happening in Dominica. And the people's carriage shut them up by giving them passports. The most influential people in Dominica give them passports to sell. And the churches that are aiding and abetting in that criminal activity or activities that is happening in Dominica, Matt. The people, Matt, I don't know if it's chlorinated water, social media. Social media is a great contributing factor where the young people that are fearless, and I love them, they're preoccupied in being entertained in social media. And one day I stay in the parliament and say, BB rum and pink grapefruit. Yesterday I fell and say, boy, life is nothing without a BB rum, boy. But when I heard that yesterday, it was no Saturday. Saturday, I went in the market and I hear a fella say something about BB. So the other fella said, boy, life is nothing without a BB rum, you know. But I shook my head. Matt, what is happening in Dominica deserve an equal pushback. And it seems like, as I said, maybe the chlorinated water or the media, or what the hell is happening to the people in Dominica? The whole world is fighting, killing and dying, standing up for their rights. Dominicans are there talking about, oh, she just stepped out so she cannot step up. But have a blessed day, sir. Sorry.
Have a blessed one. Somebody there, I guess, one of the acolytes of the Labour Party says, and he may be right. Or would you agree? Typical of the UWP supporters, they all sat in Parliament, just agreed to the process in the House. Does that act make provisions for independent observers or party agents for the re-registration? Did they put that on the table during the review process? Is that the usual talk and noise making without cause? But it's not the United Workers' Parliament, friend. There was one representative in the House. That, as far as I know, factual, that is a UWP member. So you can't put all the blame on the UWP when it was one officer, meaning the deputy in the House at the time, okay? Ella, talk to me, yes? On the telephone, talk to me.
Matt, good afternoon to you and your fellow listeners.
Yes, sir.
From St. Croix and Thomas, to the constituency of La Plain, Daly, and Borica. Fontaine here, good afternoon, Matt. Matt, what are we complaining about Donald Trump for? When I'm listening to your program, some people are talking about the Caribbean and all this. This is very good stuff. And why do I say this is good stuff? It is time for the opposition in Dominica. You all are complaining about what Skerritt is doing. You are complaining about electoral reform and what he's doing. Fine, I am for it. But we are complaining about what the Labour Party is doing. You need to do what you need to do. And what we need to do as opposition, get the list of all those who are in the United States, who that the Prime Minister is sending tickets for to come and vote. That is a good opportunity now to write to the Trump administration, get the names like my friend Owen Prosper in St. Thomas, and all the rest that are voting in Dominica, that lives in the United States, that carries U.S. citizenship, and comes down to vote. That is the time now. We need to get to work. Get to work. Let's make a list. Let's form a committee, and let us write to the Trump administration. Let the Trump administration know here is a list of 100 and something to 200 and something Dominicans who comes to vote during the general elections, and they hold U.S. citizenship. That is where now you don't worry about security and what is. We need to get to work. Get to work. And if you want to fight the Goliath, you know how to do it. And some of them right now will be shaking right now because some of them are coming to vote. Those who are getting free tickets to come down, let us get their names. Let us get their addresses in the U.S. Let us get their social security numbers and report them to the Trump administration and see your results. And right now, many of them are considered excited about labor will not go. And we need to get to work. Get to work. Let us do our groundwork. That is part of the groundwork. Get a good committee, a good opposition force, and write a letter. Get your attorneys, to the attorneys, to those who are fighting this regime every day. These are things you all need to think about. Get to work from a committee. Get the list of persons who are registered, who are trying to re-register to vote on this island, who doesn't live here, and who holds a U.S. passport. Write to the American administration and let them know so they can revoke their citizenship and let Trump deal with them. That is what you all need to do. I'm fighting this administration. That's my contribution to your program. We should be getting together and working the ground and then trying to make sure that there is no.
So why you targeting? Why you targeting Owen in St. Thomas?
I want him to understand he is also holds a U.S. citizenship passport, and he comes to vote. He's one of them because he can call Kyrie and he can call your every station. And I'm very disappointed in when he was laughing when he was arresting Lapland people. I'm very, very disappointed when he was arresting Lapland people. And you're going to tell me that now election is coming.
But he did claim that what you're saying there, Mr. Jason, is untrue. What you're saying about him is untrue. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to clear the air on that one. 2:02 is the afternoon time. Talk to me. Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
I'm telling Mr. Danny Luge to go back again because he or she cannot be stepping up out every day. There must be a day he will catch her there. Because I've seen little things like that in the area where I live in Belfast. Only by the red people they are going. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. 449-3095-96 and 97. Hello. Yes.
Yes, I just want to help my brother, Danny. I want to tell him not be washing his good eyes. I want to tell him that trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. Lord, I will acknowledge him and he'll direct me. Because if you keep on working yourself, next you fall down, maybe get anxiety or something too. The Bible said, don't be anxious, don't worry, and don't fear. God, the battle is the Lord. So there are time to seek God on your behalf. You're a Christian person. Seek God, pray, and even do a day of fasting. God will bring everything to pass. That's what I have to tell him. Do not work out yourself. By the time the people doing their business, God does never bring the counsel of the ungodly to right. It's only the thing of the leaders who fear God. Thank you very much.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
I heard you say UWP are the representative in Parliament.
He's the only registered member of the United Workers' Party, not representing the UWP. I'm talking about a member of the United Workers' Party. Can you claim that?
He's a member of the United Workers' Party.
He's a member, not.
Remember, we did not contest the election, so we have.
But we cannot run away from the fact that he's a UWP member, not representing the UWP in Parliament, but he's a UWP member. Is that a fact, Joe?
Yeah, he's a UWP member,
yes.
But we have no UWP representative in Parliament.
That's what I said very early. I don't know why we're trying to run away from that. I said that very early.
Let me say something else, Matt. When them people say they're going to be having new people doing the re-registration, that's a lie because that people they wrote a letter to already, that people that were there doing the job already and spoke to them and tell them what they should do and what they shouldn't be doing. They send letter to people that were doing that already. So why they say it's only new people they're going to have doing the re-registration? But them people lying to people. Them people inside they're lying, and when they say the lady step out, that was a lie. The lady was inside there, they just didn't want Danny to speak to the lady directly.
Well, I'm gonna go try. I'm gonna go try. Okay.
And the person that speak to Danny should say, at least you say who you speak to, so at least you would know who you speak to. The world should know who you spoke to and what the person said. That was the person response to you. We shouldn't be leaving those things to the open like that. Say exactly. I went and I spoke to Mr. JBC, and Mr. JBC told me C, and Mr. JBC told me O and B. But there are people doing a lot of nonsense. Saturday afternoon, food and so I saw it myself. I was on a bus coming out from the hospital. I'm Mrs. St. Gatwell, greetings to Mrs. Henry John. And I saw it myself. They're distributing food, people, they're giving people food, people going in, people coming out. What the hell people want inside there? If all you food all you give in people, that's sell them out. When United Workers Party are fundraising, it's fundraising we have. We're selling food to make our money, to help our party. When Freedom Party, they should be having fundraising, they should be doing it to raise funds to have their own money because as his name, Charles Savre wife and Mona Piper were the two stalwarts and Johnson Boston outside their place doing that. So everybody knows they're selling chicken. Everybody knows they were doing fundraising, but that one not giving people food. Yes, on Saturday, I took my eggs and I saw it. I said, what? When the bus driver tell me, look what's going on there. You don't want food? I tell him, no, not want food. I'm not hungry. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Have a blessed day. Hello on the telephone. Good afternoon to you, yes?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm trying my best.
Yeah, it's a hard job, I understand. You know, I want to thank Brother Danny for his intervention. But Matt, what we can find out from the Labour insiders is what the Labour Party is doing is not really connected to the Electoral Reform Commission, the office. What they're doing is the confirmation process does not require an ID. That means you don't even know who's going to come to confirm someone. Okay, so what they're doing is they're collecting their data to make sure they have their numbers of who they need confirmed, and they're going to execute that confirmation process. They're getting the data from the foreigners also who do not need to be there to confirm their name on the list because it doesn't require an ID. And so all these people will not even have to come.
So what about the process? Maybe you know something about it that, people, pictures are being, shot and, passports are being registered in their names because they don't have money to do the passport. So they're making IDs in the name. Do you know all about that too?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. All what is going on is a Labour Party operation. The commission is not involved in that. As far as that's what we understand.
Oh, that's your point. Okay, yes.
So when the process starts, that's what they're doing. Okay? But the fact is the law is problematic. If they don't have required an ID, a lot of the corruption would have been flushed out, but no ID is required for that reconfirmation thing. No ID. And that's a problem. You understand? So they are doing the foreigners and everything and whatever, and then when the people are done and present their list, and all that New Jersey plain mark is part of that process. We're learning. All that New Jersey thing is part of that process.
So what advice would you have, say, for the opposition, the United Workers Party, to get themselves together and start doing the same?
Well, to me, it's beyond just the United Workers Party. We collectively have to just rally together and start dealing with that process.
You're saying the opposition parties
will not be able to do it. The resources.
I'm asking again. You're saying all, not just the United Workers Party, all the opposition parties.
It is beyond parties right now, Mark. It is like citizens have to start taking an active input into this thing is beyond parties. We collectively, we have to get involved in that process. What's troubling is this thing does not even have to wait the 15 months of the law. Roosevelt still has the right under the Constitution to call election whenever he wants. Without regard to that law. There's a lot of problems, that are facing us. So to leave it in the hands of a party alone, and we have to collectively know, this is our opportunity, bro, to form this combination of citizenry, politics, and otherwise, collectively, That is what we have to do right now. We have no other choice. And we also have to challenge that law. Mark, with regards to Blackmore, I just want to say something quickly,
Go ahead.
Matt, when we organized that march, that 19th thing, Matt, we didn't call for a march in the streets for a specific reason, because we know we would be in contravention to the law. Okay? So we already knew by calling for a gathering that black we couldn't be arrested. The police knew we couldn't be arrested. That's why they created a riotous condition so they could employ the riot act. So the police came with that plan to create the riot, so that they could arrest people, because under the normal conditions and normal laws, we will not committing any crime under the Constitution. You understand? So when Black will talk on this nonsense, the police is the reason they acting was to create a riotous condition so they could employ that riot act and do those things that they're doing to us right now. So I want to tell the people of Dominica, we are in law to be able to gather peacefully anywhere in Dominica. It is not illegal. And we need to keep a mind of that, because we have to gather again to face this government. God bless.
All right, God bless you too. On the telephone, yes, 207. Hello, yes.
Matt, boots on the ground again.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
Matt, I want to inform my people that the problem we have, it's international. It's no longer a Dominica problem. It's a problem that is a world-affected problem, and it's affecting human rights. Matt, somebody called me from England, and they were telling me that they're hearing what's happening and they're following up on the information. And that person knows some legal info. And that person said that that law is not even active in England, because since the date that law was passed, a number of different laws passed after that. And there is the human rights law that ride right over that. And people in England protesting and cannot be charged unless if an individual is creating a problem. But the way they go on there, it was not an individual. They cracked down on the masses. And they cracked down on certain people that they wanted to shut up. But there's people calling from overseas to them too, to get information as to what transpired in Dominica, because they believe human rights have been violated. And that Friday press conference we had was not for Dominicans. It was a press conference to tell them outside that they had reasons to arrest people and under what condition. But I would like you all to scrutinize the information that was coming from the mouth of the officials, because they knew what they were saying and they knew who they were speaking to. So our people need to just be positive and stand up for our rights. Boots on the ground.
All right, my brother. Thank you very much on the telephone. Hello, good afternoon to you. Yes. Are you there, caller? Caller, are you there? You're not. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Hey, Matt, good afternoon. How are you doing?
How are you doing, my brother?
I go taking it easy.
Okay.
The other gentleman on a few callers ago who was saying that we need to stop, look at what Labour Party is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with him, Matt. Right now it's time for us to organize and mobilize. Labour Party is going to do what Labour Party has to do. So let them do what they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to start organizing our little groups in the different constituencies so that we could get people to confirm, albeit that we have 18 months to confirm. And if an election is called before the end of the confirmation process, then the old list is going to be used. So people's names are going to be on the list anyway. But what we have to do is make sure that we are registering new persons, and if at all confirmation is taking place, then they have to bring out the list. And when they bring out the list, then we have persons in the different constituencies scrutinizing the list and seeing who is supposed to be there as per the new bills and who is not supposed to be there. I hope that we in the opposition, we could get ourselves organized to do that, Matt. We start scrutinizing and then we object what we have to object. And if it means that we have to put it in the courts. That is how this battle is going to be won. We cannot spend our time talking and thinking of what they are going to do, what they have to do. That Labour Party is a well-oiled machine, man. Full of corruption, but they're well-oiled. You understand, Matt? So we have to get ourselves organized and start appoint people in different constituencies to scrutinize the list and see what's going on. Let them do what they have to do, but we have to do what we have to do. Thank you for taking my call.
All right, thank you very much. So, yes, do what you have to do. That's the point of the caller. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yeah, Matt,
Yes.
let me tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting very excited and so on, and we need to stay, cool out a little while and check what is happening.
Okay, Mr. Brian, yes.
Matt, it's important for us to know the law that was passed, what we have available to us, for us to know how we're going to benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The effective date of the act, Matt, that is very important for us to understand. And from my understanding, that the act became effective on the 25th of March. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And 2 months after the effective date of the act, we're supposed to start the reconfirmation process. Okay? Following that reconfirmation, the starting of that reconfirmation process, periodically, I think it's every month, they're supposed to publish a list of the names that are reconfirmed on the voters list. That is what we have to be focusing on when that period starts, so that we the citizens can do the work that we have to do in terms of ensuring that everybody who is listed on that list, who is reconfirmed, ensuring that they are residents. Because when they come to reconfirm, they have to fill out a form, Matt, sign an affidavit to verify their residency, to confirm the fact that they are residents wherever they say they come into to register or to reconfirm their vote. Okay? So we have a responsibility to play as citizens to report to the police in the first instance anybody we find who has been reconfirmed that is not legally resident in Dominica. That's what the law says. That is why we have to understand the law properly, what it is that we have, so that we can know how we can benefit from it, and in terms of our individual responsibility to ensure that the voters' list is cleansed. That's the objective of the exercise, Matt. So when we hear all of those things that we hear about the registering already and the doing things already, let us not get caught up in those types of distractions and so on, because I suspect those things are deliberately done to put us off from the work that we are supposed to do, because there is a means available to us to ensure that only residents are listed on that list, on the final list. And there is a recourse, there is penalties. You are fine and confined. 6 months jail, $10,000 fine for people who are fraudulently reconfirmed, which that means they come and they're named on the list, but they're not resident in Dominica. The law speaks of that, which wasn't there before. Okay, so those are the things that we have to look forward to, educate ourselves about, so that we can hold the government's feet to the fire. Because we know, Matt, in any instance, something I've been saying for years now, we can get the best set of electoral reform laws on our books. Okay? And if Roosevelt decides that he doesn't want to implement even what is law, nobody cannot stop him. He will not do. He will implement it. Okay? So that is why we have to know what is our rights under the new law, what is our responsibility under the new law, and not be lazy about it. Because we have to do the work. There is work for us to get busy organizing ourselves right now, so that we can take advantage of the Registration of Electors Act, which was passed in Parliament, which we received most of what we were advocating for under that particular act, with respect to registration of voters and reconfirmation of the voters. So that is why, Matt, I'm begging you, please, let us inform our people properly, so that they can be aware of their rights and their responsibilities and their role in terms of ensuring that we have a clean voters list so that when the election is called, we can contest election with a better list than what is there right now, because we have certain things available to us right now based on the registration of elected act which was recently passed that we must use to our advantage. We cannot just sit down and complain and make noise when we have tools that we can use to make this situation better than it is right now, man. Would you agree with me, man?
I would agree, Brian. Thank you very much. I would agree, but there are a lot more telephone calls coming in. Brian Linton there in Marigot. Let's do this one.
Matt, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Matt, I just want to commend Danny. Turn right onto Brookville Boulevard. Danny Luge for his proactiveness in this whole electoral reform process. I think that, excuse me, I think anybody who has a stake in a constituency, not just politicians, but individuals should do the same thing. I think it is time that the people become more proactive in the electoral process. We know what we needed as a country. We did not get it. And we know what was passed is essentially to favor the incumbent. However, the process, as I'm trying to understand it, I'm still trying to understand it, is reconfirmation. Reconfirmation. That means people have to reconfirm their names on the list. I think once you reconfirm in some, they have a method of doing it. And Matt, you really need to do an education program on Q95 for the people. Then you can reconfirm. And then I guess after that, they will maybe publish the list and then release a new voter list, hopefully. In the bill that was passed, I think they have between 12 to 15 months within which time that confirmation process has to be done. Now here's the thing, and that's why I am so proud of what Danny has done today, and why every individual, not just politician, needs to take a conscious effort to be a part of this process. Go to your offices and find out. Seek, because we know that this whole electoral process in Dominica has always been fraught with irregularities, with unfairness, and we know the games that they're playing. Their talk, it doesn't just happen. Things are happening, and so given what they went to the parliamentary fund, given what they've given us as electoral reform, we have to hold their feet to the fire now. We have to hold their feet to the fire, and we in our own way have to be proactive. Start reconfirmation, whether it's you bring your people there. The other problem, Matt, is that the people of Dominica need to call out the Electoral Commission, because this is a job for the Electoral Commission. This is what the Electoral Commission is supposed to do, is to get in touch with the people who want to be reconfirmed. They are the ones who should be issuing. Why is it that all of a sudden we're hearing all these PAL reps doing this, PAL reps doing that, PAL rep this, PAL rep that, bring your ID, bring this and bring that. Matt, I think that the people who have knowledge of the process, they need to come and break it down in layman's terms for the people. Let them understand exactly what that bill said, and let them hold the electoral reform, the electoral commission fit to the fire. The people who are supposed to implement whatever it is that was passed. Don't leave it up to those politicians, because you know how the Labour Party works. That's how they're going to do it. And we're hearing about a lot of things. So go to your electoral offices, go to your parliamentary offices, do what you need to do to ensure that you are a part of the process, to ensure that these things are not done. And if they're being done, expose them, speak out against them, and educate the people as to what exactly was passed in the bill in the parliament. And hey, you never know. If we do what we're supposed to do, individuals, politicians, civic-minded people, just regular citizens doing what they're supposed to. If you see irregularities, call, talk out against it, publish it, write against it, call on your electoral officers to do the work that is needed to be done. Call on them, demand it. If we take a proactive role like Danny is doing, I think that, hey, listen, it's our country. We have to save it in some way, somehow. Thank you, Matt. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
My brothers and sisters of Dominica, listen up. The new Registration of Electors Act number 1 of 2025, the House of Assembly Elections Act number 2 of 2025, and the Electoral Commission Act number 3 of 2025 were passed in Parliament on the 19th of March 2025, assented to by the President on March 21st, 2025, and published in the Official Gazette on March 25th, 2025. These election laws are now in effect, and some of their provisions are already being broken by a ruling party hell-bent on ensuring that legal provisions for fair elections will not prevent it from cheating and stealing. The utterly corrupt seworization of the confirmation and registration of voters, bringing confirmation and registration under the drunken influence of sewo, is already in full swing. The gift of payment of expenses for securing a passport as one of government-issued IDs needed for confirmation on the register is a ruling party bribe to influence votes, contrary to Section 60C of the new House of Assembly Elections Act. The provision of food, drink, entertainment at barbecues, pool parties, or other ruling party confirmation or registration events around the country amounts to ruling party treating for the purpose of corruptly influencing votes, contrary to Section 61A of the House of Assembly Elections Act. Roosevelt Skerritt, Rayburn Blackmore, Chief of Police, AG, DPP, these are the criminal activities undermining fair elections in Dominica that law enforcement needs to crack down on. So please, let's send the senseless, brutal, totally unjustified crackdown on persons who assembled to protest government actions in full accordance with their democratic rights and freedoms enshrined in the Constitution, our supreme law. Let's stop this injustice to innocent people, this disgrace of Dominica's name in the civilized world, and focus instead on the real lawbreakers who offend the rule of law and compromise our democracy. I draw your attention to Section 13.1 of the new Registration of Electors Act. It provides that on the effective date, meaning March 25th, 2025, the day on which the Act came into force, the existing list shall be adopted as the first register of electors under the Act. And then Section 13.2 goes on to provide that, quote now, within 3 days after the effective date was March 25th, 2025. Within 3 days means 26, 27, 28. By March 28th, the Chief Registering Officer shall cause the register of electors adopted under subsection 1 to be published on the website of the Electoral Office and in such other manner as may be prescribed and may be published in a newspaper widely circulated in Dominica. The Chief Registering Officer or the Chief Elections Officer has failed or refused to act according to the law. And this law says, at Section 46, any person not being a registering officer or assistant registering officer, which means the chief registering officer is included in that group, exercising functions under this act, and who does any unlawful or unauthorized act in relation to the register of electors, commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $10,000 or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 9 months, or to both such fine and imprisonment. So you mean to tell me we can be seriously prosecuting innocent people in 2025 under an 1897 law that is in breach of our 1978 Constitution while turning a blind eye to those committing offenses on the laws made in 2025? Like, seriously? Now, in terms of registration to vote for representation in Parliament, Section 33(2) of the Constitution states, quote, every Commonwealth citizen of the age of 18 years or upwards who possesses such qualifications related to residence or domicile in Dominica, as Parliament may prescribe, shall, unless he is disqualified by Parliament from registration as a voter for the purpose of electing representatives, be entitled to be registered as such voter in accordance with the provisions of any law in that behalf, and no other person may be so registered. The previous act, the previous Registration of Electors Act, disqualified persons absent from Dominica for more than 5 years and required their names to be removed from the register of voters. We all know that incompetence in managing the register of voters, accordingly, led to a bloated voters list with thousands of persons ordinarily resident overseas who were not eligible to vote in Dominica. In this new Registration of Electors Act, the ruling party seems to have moved to protect the franchise of overseas voters by removing the 5-year absence disqualification. But there are provisions in the new act for the removal from the register of voters the names of persons who have become disqualified for registration as an elector under the act. Now, residency in Dominica is a constitutionally mandated qualification to register to vote. A duly registered voter, therefore, becomes disqualified if he or she no longer meets any or all of the constitutionally mandated qualifications prescribed in Section 7 of the Registration of Electors Act. It is, in my view, unconstitutional and contrary to the provisions of the Registration of Electors Act, notwithstanding the provisions for confirmation in Part 5, to confirm persons on the register of voters who have become disqualified for registration or who are no longer qualified for registration. Section 38 of the Registration of Electors Act provides that, quote, a person who does not have the requisite qualifications for inclusion in the register of electors and who willfully makes a claim to be included in the register of electors commits an offense, end of quote. And this means that persons ordinarily resident overseas who do not now have the requisite residence qualification for inclusion in the register of electors and who seek to be confirmed on the register of voters will be committing an offense. The penalty is $5,000 or 6 months in jail, or both the $5,000 fine and the 6-month jail time. So be careful. Know the law, even though ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking the law.
All right, Dominica. I just heard again from the president of the United Workers' Party. Make your eyes ball your peas, huh? I want to move to a subject we had earlier. I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm talking about this question put to the Commissioner of Police, as it relates to that video that went viral, where one police officer, in plain view, gave a slap to one protester, knocking him to the ground. Listen to that conversation we had last Friday.
Another question to follow up there, as you there, sir. I'm being told, and a lot of people seem disappointed, Mr. Jeffrey James, and another police officer who slaps clear video, it was not shown here. I slapped an individual there, a protester, if you want to call it that way. Is any or will any disciplinary action be taken against these people?
I have seen many of those videos, and the alleged slap that you saw.
The alleged, you said. Go ahead.
I'm saying the person who was allegedly slapped have not complained to the police. No report was made against any police officer for slapping him. None. Zero. Zilch. So to suggest that the police are not investigating, what are we going to investigate? Nothing. No report was made at all. None. Up to today.
Are you denying it happened, sir?
Well, I'm telling you, Mr. Pelletier, that no report was made. I'm not saying that what you saw didn't happen, but I'm saying, but no report was made. None against any police officer for slapping or for doing anything illegal.
Court of high treason, the greatest form of breach of the peace known to British law, is.
Another question to follow up there, as you're there. Sir, I'm being told, and a lot of people seem disappointed in Mr. Jeffrey James, and another police officer who slapped, clear video, it was not shown here, slapped an individual there, a protester, if you want to call it that way. Is any or will any disciplinary action be taken against these people?
I have seen many of those videos, and the alleged slap that you saw. The
alleged, you said. Okay, go ahead.
I'm saying the person who was allegedly slapped have not complained to the police. No report was made against any police officer for slapping him. None. Zero. Zilch. So to suggest that the police are not investigating, what are we going to investigate? Nothing. No report was made at all. None. Up to today.
Are you denying it happened, sir?
Well, I'm telling you, Mr. Pelletier, that no report was made. I'm not saying that what you saw didn't happen, but I'm saying, but no report was made. None against any police officer for slapping or for doing anything illegal.
4493095. So the fact that he keeps repeating allegedly made by the police, can we allege that the protesters on the fence there did not commit the act? It's a question straight to you. On the telephone, are you there? Let's take another phone call. Yes. 4493095 96 and 97. That's a very, very loaded question. Are you there, sir? Oh, sorry about that. We keep missing the calls there. I don't know what's going on. Are you there, caller?
Mr.
Hello.
Peltier,
Yes,
finally.
finally.
Matt, you listen to Mr. Linton saying right thereafter, the laws that were passed in Parliament were being violated, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pick that up, Matt?
I can't make reference to what you're talking about, but I'll listen.
You just played it. You just played it. You may have missed it.
Yes.
And I heard it the other day, and I picked it up. Right thereafter, the laws passed in Parliament was already being violated, Matt. So I mean not to refer to anybody directly, but I'm just saying, Matt, when a man cut off all your fingers, how can you hold his feet to the fire? No damn opposition. The corruption within the judicial system, where you have a Minister of National Insecurity and a DPP. Oh, a bullet passed by me, Matt. You mean to tell me, Matt, there anything that can be done to guarantee a free and fair election in a system that is being manipulated, skillfully determining the outcome of the elections, Matt, and every damn thing else? So I am just saying, my brother, Mr. Linton is quite knowledgeable and articulate, and he explained everything which I have a good grasp of. I'm not right up there to say it's a perfect grasp, although to me good and perfect, say you man.
And I am saying, my brother, when these guys can play the liquor chess game and fool the people with the re-register, with the, how they call it, reconfirmation, rather than re-registration, it leads back to Blackmore again. When you're in opposition, you cannot get everything you want. So when you're in government, you will do whatever the hell you want and get away with it, because it seems like the middle age and the elderly is afraid of all you. The young people, we need to find a way to attract them to understand what is going on in their own country so they can rise up. Rise up, Matt. Them guys feeling too safe. Thank you.
All right. Hello. Let's back to the telephone. Are you there? Yes?
Yeah, good afternoon, Matt.
Yes. Good
Matt, I'd
afternoon.
like to use an extreme example to expose what that commissioner or whatever his position is. Matt, if we saw a video of a man who got hit by a police officer, allegedly, as he say, and that person died and nobody reported it, would he hold that same position that the police shouldn't
Investigate?
investigate it? Yeah, that's the point. I'm using an extreme example. So when there's a no report by a civilian, when the police themselves have to take the initiative to investigate something, that's the question I'd like to ask.
All right. Somebody's asking the question to Mr. Cobbett. I would like to ask Mr. Cobbett, when the gentleman, if you want to say the alleged gentleman, stole his gun and shot himself at the, that is Mr. Cobbett, did you make a report? Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Are you there? 449-3095-96 and 97. Are you there? Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there?
My brothers.
All right, let's, of course, go to the theme of this Talk on the Block. We're exploring the very subject. On the telephone, hello, talk to me. Yes? Hello? Nobody there. On the telephone, hello, yes?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm there.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Matt, I don't know, but I learn. You see me, I telling you I learn, and I learn well. The reason why I'm saying this and making this statement, I do have a law degree, but I get myself interested in knowing things and doing things. I would like to put that question to Mr. Cobbett, and I know they're listening, and I know they're recording. Why are they using the footage of the drone? They have two drones taking out the protesters, and they're criminally, illegally going against the protesters' constitutional rights for standing up for what they believe. The same drone should have taken out the police, slapping the man. I can call his name. Roll Barnes was my neighbor in Kingsville for a number of years. And I have it on footage where a police, I don't know what he said, but I saw police brutalizing him. That was the interview I was having with Mr. Lynx at the time. That police wasn't, I sure never called in for questioning or whatever, because there's footage available. You are arresting people, Mr. Cobbett, you and your goons and Toto Makuk on footage from the drones. Why are you not using the same footage and charge the police for orderly conduct, you know? Anyway, Matt, you know, they had a press conference, Matt.
Tell me.
And believe me, you know, when things happen in America, you watch the mayor come in the different prisons, but they're not criminalizing the victims, which was the of the thing. In Dominica, right now, it would be unfair to get a jury of your peers. You have to be judged by your peers when you go to high court, you know.
True.
Because they have prejudiced the people's mind. I should be asking the commissioner and the Minister of National Security
to let everybody go free, give them a pardon. Anyway, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Mr. Blackmore, actually, I was trying to get him no to, but I think it's fair. I think the public should, have an opportunity. So I'm going to try my very best to engage him in a Zoom call tomorrow. So give you a chance to question him directly. Okay. We're going to try to provide that opportunity. I'm hoping that Mr. Blackmore will be trying to do so. Hello, talk to me. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes, Matt.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes.
I am glad that the person called and said the name because I could not clearly recognize the face so much in the video with the person on the ground. But I'll tell you, that's my cousin. We are two sisters' children, and he's also my godfather. I was trying to get to the brother to ask him if he saw the video and if he could recognize, because I called somebody to ask, do you know the name of the man that was on the ground and whatnot? The person said no. I say he looks like somebody, but I could not see the face. But by the Afro style and the bullet, I kind of recognized it was he, but I was not sure. So I am so glad that the person recognized Matt. Nothing further will be said, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. On the telephone now, so let's see what happens. 449. Now the police are telling you that they are very selective in enforcement. So when a crime is committed without a report, it automatically means no crime was committed. This is what the person is alleging there at this time. Hello, talk to me. Yes, we have to be careful what we want to select and what we don't. Hello.
Hi.
So should we hold on, caller? Should we dismiss everything that the officers saw there on that video? Because when the video was played at the news conference, there was no video shown of this police officer who slapped the guy. Is this selective justice? Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
The problem I have with the acting police commissioner's
Yes.
response is the fact that he came there in that press conference to inform the nation that the police acted appropriately. Right? That was the reason why he came. So the only way he could have made that conclusion was if he made an investigation of what he observed. Because if you don't investigate what you see, you cannot decide it was appropriate or not.
Mm-hmm.
So he obviously did an investigation. So the question, therefore, is not whether there was an investigation, because it had to be one, but was whether what the police officer did is acceptable behavior by a police officer. And what he seems to be saying is that he had authorized the officer to pistol whip because, by the way, the gentleman involved, he said in my presence that the police officer who hit him had something in his hand. That was the man, he said, in my presence. I know that for a fact, based on the victim reporting. He said he wasn't slapped. The officer had something in his hand. So, obviously, the chief of police, the commissioner of police, did an investigation. The question you asked him was whether there was going to be disciplinary action. And then when you asked again, you asked for investigation. So that put him off the hook. The question, so it seems to me that what he's saying is that the officers of the police force are authorized to behave in that way. And if, when they act in that way, the person who is the victim of it complains, then they can respond to the complaint, which is a bit of a problem, but that's as far as I can see.
All right. Thank you very much for your assessment there, Matt. So if it was the man that slapped the police, would they ask the police to report? Now you start thinking. They say they saw people doing things and arrested them, but they did not see the police slap the man. Interestingly, that video was never played. Selective justice again. They can arrest people who did not do anything, but they're using that kind of footage. Again, I just want to emphasize That is selective justice. I'm sure that they saw that video. Hello, talk to me, yes? 449-3095-96 and 97. Let's take a few calls. We've got just about 14 minutes remaining. Somebody's asking the question. The higher ranking police officer implied in his response to you that the action cannot be taken against the police officer who slapped and knocked down the individual on March 19th. Is that correct? Well, as he said, no complaints have been made. But based on my information, the family will make a report. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Hey, Matt, how you doing? Happy Monday.
How you doing, my brother? Happy Monday to you, yes.
I'm good. I
Yeah.
can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, do you know somebody by the name of Alistair Fountain?
Alicia Fountain? I'm not too sure I do. Why?
Okay, so that's a no. Okay, I need you to keep that name in your head, let it marinate for a little while. For the week, not for a little, because I'll ask you about that name again. Matt, can you be the Prime Minister of Dominica and be a U.S. citizen?
Can you know?
In the law?
No.
No, you can't. Okay, I just wanted to know. All right, my brother.
You were inquiring about yourself whether you could come to vote in Dominica? That's where you're going? That's where you're going?
What was that? I didn't get that. What was that?
I'm saying, were you inquiring whether you could come to vote in Dominica because you're a U.S. citizen? Playing smart but not being clever, my friend. Hello, talk to me. Yes. Yes, good afternoon to
Matt,
you.
good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Matt,
Yes.
a video was clearly seen.
Yes.
Like what the Americans sometimes they slap all around the world
Yeah.
of a protester being slapped.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the allegation? Because the people, you can clearly see the distinctive dress code of the police. So we know it was not a civilian that slapped a civilian. It was police officers armed with guns because they were the only ones that were armed that slapped a civilian. Now, you said that no report was done. With all that arrest going on, what guarantee does that man have that if he goes to make a report that he's not going to be arrested for protesting?
But he was arrested. He was arrested. He was one of the first persons picked up. He was.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he was.
So he being arrested, I guess he was never asked what happened. He was even if he said that he was slapped. I am sure no report was taken from him then because he was treated like a criminal. Secondly, we saw another video, and that happened in the presence of the now deputy commissioner and another police officer. I assume he's a senior officer, where a police officer was sending cones at the protesters. Is that another allegation? Why wasn't that video as well shown? Double-minded police officers. Have a nice day, man.
Have a nice day. It's already 2:50 in the PM. I'm hoping that you can answer the question. Somebody's making again. You can be the only one to confirm, but a friend is sharing that you can't vote this time because you were never registered. Again, it might be an allegation, but you can confirm for me, Al. Okay? So, Mr. Al, you can call and confirm because somebody's alleging that you were never registered. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
When a police commit a crime in America and the video camera captured them committing the crime.
They investigated, yes.
Are they not investigated?
Yes, they are.
And put on bench duty while the investigation taking place?
They're in suspension, yes.
That's suspension?
Yep.
Till they conclude what really happened?
Mm-hmm.
But in Dominica, it was the opposite way. But how do we know? We understood that the police said the man was throwing stone. Did we see the man throw stone? Did he see the man throw stone? When he hit the man was throwing stone. The man was walking down on the ground in the street. When he still give that man that sack with tap or that cool butu in his head, it may be something he had in his hand. Because that impact that made on that man's face, mad Papa boy. I don't know that man maybe might get brain damage anytime.
All right, Blue Blue. Thank you very much. It's 2:52. Another what? 8 minutes on the telephone, yes?
Yes, Matt.
Yes.
I'm trying to.
You're back again. Go ahead.
I am back again. And Mr. Mills, Kerville Mills, just heard me on the radio. And he called in my phone. I called him back, you know what I'm saying? He told me somebody give him a message for me. I want to know if it's an arrest warrant they have waiting for me when I come Dominica. If it's not that message, tell Mr. Mills, I know you here. Go and resurrect your mother that day and put the message in her behind for me, please. Thank you.
All right. Go easy, go easy, go easy. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes. Oh. Hello. Stop getting personal now. Hello, talk to me. Yes? Uh-huh.
Hey, Matt, I wanted to sort of, on Corbett's response here
Yes.
to your question.
Okay.
Mr. Corbett could have said a number of things. Even if he was still being dishonest, he could have said a number of things. Well, maybe we're going to be looking at the video and come back to you later.
A simple answer could have helped. We are looking into the matter. Simple.
Yes, but Matt, that tells you of the level of intelligence, or we can basically put it of the lack of qualification for the top police officers that we have. Matt, just the same thing too. They were involved in the whole Chuck C kidnap operation. And the first thing that he did when he met at the cabinet was to introduce himself as the acting police commissioner. How foolish can you be? Well, let's look at this bit further. I mean, Corbett is telling you after clear evidence, video evidence, that they will not investigate this assault by the police officer on a civilian. What these guys, we have to be wary, and I want to take this back to the whole electoral reconfirmation process. We have to be wary that any of these guys from the DLP operation caught in insidious operation in the registration process, how are we to believe or feel comfortable that this police force that we have, the investigation arm of the police force, will take the necessary action to prevent the Labour Party operatives from operating illegally in the whole reconfirmation process? I mean, what Corbett did here is frightening, man, that these guys, and we're talking about selective justice, this is exactly what it is. So my point is the opposition forces need to be really well prepared, armed, and I don't mean armed, physical armed, but armed, ready with legal action necessary to stop what we know is going to happen with the whole reconfirmation process. After 25 years of a rogue operation, a rogue government administration, we expect nothing less. Thanks, man.
Thank you for your contribution again. The telephones are going again, and tomorrow we'll be back. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Matt.
I'm here.
You went to the Met conference. Can you please tell me if they played the video of JJ, aka Advance, harassing the MO news reporter, and even you can call it assaulting her and damaging her equipment?
Well, I know they did not play that video, but the commissioner did respond to a question put by I think it was by myself. I'll play that for you tomorrow. Yes, he did respond to the issue of the reporter, and I'll play that for you tomorrow. Hello, talk to me, yeah?
Matt, I have a follow-up question. When you go to a press conference with the police,
as them what's the relations and status of community policing at this present time in Dominica? I mean,
I'll ask the question on your behalf. Can I call your name when I ask the question?
Yes, you can say it. You can call my. You know why I talk about community policing and community relations?
Yes.
The police has damaged their trust. The police. I told you now we did a background thing on the police force, and there was square pegs in wrong hole. And anyway, man, before police pick me up, bye-bye.
I know your sister will bail you. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Good afternoon, Justin. How you doing? Are you there, caller? Hello, talk to me. Yes. It's the afternoon time. It's just about 4 minutes ago. Are you there, caller? Caller, you there? No, you're not. You're not. Sorry. I think I have a text message there from Mr. Irwin from St. Thomas. Let's see if we can play this one. Yes, Irwin?
Good afternoon, my brother.
Good afternoon to you. Yes.
Let me ask you a question. I don't know if you could answer me. You have any law that telling you if you're an American citizen that you cannot vote in your country?
No, that's not. No, that's
Did you
no.
hear that law?
No.
Did you hear that law pass already? I don't know if you heard that. If you heard about it already, let me know because.
No. Just to answer your question. No. There's no law that says if you're an American citizen you can't vote in Dominica. No, there's no law. Okay. I think we spoke about that sometime. I think the ambassador cleared that many moons ago. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes, 449. So we know. Maybe Trump may be looking into that as well. You know how Trump is thinking these days. Hello on the telephone. Yes, you never know what to come. How are you?
Mr. Peltier, how are you?
How are you? Yes.
Good. Your police force has been crooked for a long time, way back in the 70s, okay? I was in Lago where Eugenia Charles had a meeting, and she said something, and I clapped. And Desmond Blanchard, who was in charge of his security branch in those days, came to me and told me I cannot clap. I said, why I cannot clap? Oh, you're a civil servant, because I was a fire officer then. These guys have been like that for a long time. Dominica has been sleeping for a very, very long time. Then I was a volunteer member of the Defense Force. When they were that same time, Eugenia Charles told people, don't even go to a demonstration with an umbrella because it'll think you have a weapon. When we arrived at police headquarters, they were giving us SLRs, semi-automatic rifles. I refused to do it, and I went over and put my fireman uniform. Earl Johnson told me I could be court-martialed. I said, I cannot be court-martialed because this is a volunteer defense force. Midday that day, they declared state of emergency, but I'd got nothing time. May Earl Johnson's soul rest in peace. I heard he passed away.
I heard he passed away. May his soul rest in peace. Yes. Dominica, we've got to go at this time. It's 1 minute to the hour. Let's come back tomorrow and talk, okay?
In hell, people think I'm doing well just because I sing a few calypso. But that is my misery. Calypso don't make money, but most of them don't know that I have my axe to grind, just like them.
My friend Al,
existing in poverty.
It seems your friends are investigating you, huh? There's no Alfred Benoit
I ain't gonna leave
on the voters list, huh?
Sitting in the cold, not me. No, they go have to beat me. They go have to eat me. All the heads go roll. Tell them I said I was born in this land. I was born in this land. Nobody go run me from where me come from. Nobody go run me, lad. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Me woman must yam. Me papa must yam. Me woman must yam. Me picky must yam. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me, lad. Nobody go run me. Life ain't much for us to choose. Some we win and some we lose. But sometimes life is so confusing. I had a lot of friends one time whom I used to wine and dine and give them bread when they need it. Now most of them against me, take me back to get me, simply because I am not what they all want me to be. And with the political views I can't agree. But tell them for me no dice. I ain't gonna eat lice, I ain't gonna grow sitting in the cold, not me algae. No, they gonna have to beat me, they gonna have to eat me, or the heads go roll. Tell them I say I was born in this land, I go die in this land. Nobody go run me from where me come from. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Me mama must yam. Me papa must yam. Me woman must yam. Me sickly must yam. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Well, there's I at CBC, work at Halcyon for free when they went bankrupt and had no money. Because of my tolerance, they gave me the assurance the job belongs to me. But I hear some people hide in our society. They don't like my calypso because they can't control me. So they plan to kick out my ass. I ain't gonna eat lice. I ain't gonna grow. Sitting in the cold, not me shorty. No, all you have to beat me. All you have to bury me more than 6 feet or more. Tell them I say in this land, I go down in this land. Nobody go run me from where me come from. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Me mama must yam. Me papa must yam. Me woman must yam. Me sickly must yam. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Election come and gone. Some of them treat me with scorn. Others put the whole point against me. Tell them I don't give a damn. I am going to sing my song exactly as I see it. Whoever want to make me a political enemy, who feel that they're playing God and could wreck the life for me, tell them I ain't running away. Tell them for me love. I ain't gonna live lies. I ain't gonna grow old. Sitting in the cold, not me shorty. No, all you have to beat me. All you have to bury me more than 6 feet or more. Tell them I say in this land, I'm not in this land. Nobody go run me from where me come from. Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me. Nobody run me, lad. Nobody go run me. Me mama must yam. Me papa must yam. Me woman must yam. Me sickly must yam. Lad, nobody go run me. And we can wake up, open up your eyes. Your country needs you. Hope you realize our government is abusing its power and authority, and if it's having adverse effect on the whole country, it is time for us to take a stand. After all, this is our native land. That is why I came back to stay, to expose the wicked things that are perpetrating. It is only time for the self-destruct. Greed and power is the TNT. The purpose is government works for the boss. They don't really care about this country. All these scheming conniving plans have caught up with them. They are facing in some amount of a problems, and just as sure as the sun will rise, this government must fall. The handwriting is on the wall. Our Prime Minister, a dictator. If with him you don't agree, you can't progress in your country. Our government has no respect for the business community. No dialogue, they only talk in this meeting. Taxing the poor ones who have no money, while the rest live in luxury. As a family and the Prime Minister, and then your boy, think down figure. It is only time for the self-destruct. Freedom power is the TNT. Their purpose in government was for the bucks. They don't really care about this country. All this scheming, conniving plans have caught up with them. They are facing insurmountable problems, and just as sure as the sun will rise, this government must fall. The handwriting is on the wall. Unprecedented corruption rampant throughout the island, and victimization to those who express dissatisfaction with the way this government squandering this country's revenue, accepting no accountability for the underhand things they does do. Ostracizing those who made their own, and rewarding their friends from with rifles. Hurricane mash up the glen and Althea, and force them so they come and take back the land. It is only time for the self-destruct. Freedom power is the TNT. Their purpose in government was for the bucks. They don't really care about this country. All the scheming, conniving plans have caught up with them. They are facing insurmountable problems, and just as sure as the sun will rise, this government must fall. The handwriting is on the walls. I am the boss, but not here for me. Ask God and Marshall, look what I did to Percy. He was standing in the way of my daughter's future. So I demoralized him with the aid of the newspaper. But the time this man's mentality will my people be bothered by duty free. If we don't remove them in the next election, it will be a tax for the future generation. So I will leave them alone, let them self-destruct. Freedom power is the TNT. Their purpose in government was for the boss. They don't really care about this country. it's stealing canines and have caught up with them. They are facing some multiple problems, and just as sure as the sun will this government must fall. The handwriting is on the wall. Greetings, Mr. Abdullah. Salam alaikum. I'm singing to make you a girl. Things are bad. We lost the church, we don't get it empty. And you in charge of a treasury overseas. Over 6 billion and counting. And we the people down here stunting. Never in our life before, in our Dominican, on our welcome shore, and our people so far. We facing a crisis here, so I bypass the leader, we suspect he don't like it anymore. Bring money, Mr. Abdullah, bring money. Everybody broke down here, bring money. You don't know to worry, bring money. Our church, you oversee, bring money. The man never see come see with all the country money, buying election and building mansion. Now we going after credit union. You see, we want to be set on people. It's up to you, Mr. Abdullah. Salam alaikum. Corruption of citizens falling. Electoral reform. Government in everybody. Anything workers, you get your salary. Nobody for passport printing. Businessmen in the country falling. No history, Arab and black slavery. There's an opportunity to win with diplomacy. To front money before, come front load a little more. 6 billion of I or even more. Bring money, Mr. Abdullah. Bring money. Bring money. A billion or two or three. Bring money. From our church we oversee. Bring money. The man never see come see. Waste all the country money. Fighting opposition and buying loyalty. We borrowing from social security. You see? We want to pull his pension. This is a warning, Mr. Abdullah. Salam alaikum. Your winter is coming, we will come calling. If you don't know, remember you signed the contract publicly in the winter back. If you remember, guy, the leader, that is he, not Dominican. You got a chance to be a highly developed country instead of prosperity. We see no poverty. So your decision will make you a wanted man. All the greatest Muslim in morning. Good morning, Mr. Dollar. Good morning. Everybody broke down now. Good morning. A billion or two or three. Good morning. Our treasury overseas. Good morning. The man never see come see. With all the country money, sending all the money overseas. Now we going after NBT. The only bank left in our country. Daddy, 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 daddy. There just seems to be no hope for Dominicans in Dominica. If you're not a passport seller, your bank account will in for sure. Nothing is being exported out of this country anymore. The only people doing well are the crooks who have passports to sell. Patriot and I'm so king that I am. Conditions forcing me to come up with a scam. I'm telling my passport to the highest. I take it on my picture. I put it in the fire. But I have to be smarter. I don't wanna get caught. I tell you my big strong. You have no choice for. I don't wanna get caught. If the police catch me, I'll pay them off. We know they don't get corruption. The only person that I am afraid of is Mr. Lennox. Hey, yeah. The future of prosperity and for foreigners must be shining. They pay no taxes, they pay no social security. The young people have no choice but to migrate to neighboring countries. Last year in my East Bay, I tried planting up the trees of marijuana. It drops so politically blind. Bypass the minister's greenhouse plantation and come and destroy mine. So I'm telling my passport to the highest. I take up my picture. I put it in the fire. But I have to smack God. I don't want to kill God. I take my heart to any rich or poor. I do have to choice for. I don't want to kill God. If the police catch me, I'll pay more. We know in corruption, the only person that I afraid I know. Yo. It seems our government wants us to come taking on lending. They don't like men and women who think independent. Passport